And it kind of seemed to me like LLMs are kind of like a new operating system, right? But actually, I think the analogy that makes the most sense, perhaps, is that in my mind, LLMs have very strong kind of analogies to operating systems. In that this is not just electricity or water. It's not something that comes out of the tap as a commodity. These are now increasingly complex software ecosystems, right? So they're not just like simple commodities like electricity. And it's kind of interesting to me that the ecosystem is shaping in a very similar kind of way, where you have a few closed source providers like Windows or Mac OS, and then you have an open source alternative like Linux. And I think for LLMs as well, we have a kind of a few competing closed source providers, and then maybe the Llama ecosystem is currently like maybe a close approximation to something that may grow into something like Linux. Again, I think it's still very early because these are just simple LLMs, but we're starting to see that these are going to get a lot more complicated. It's not just about the LLM itself, it's about all the tool use and the multimodalities and how all of that works. And so when I sort of had this realization a while back, I tried to sketch it out, and it kind of seemed to me like LLMs are kind of like a new operating system, right? So the LLM is a new kind of a computer. It's kind of like the CPU equivalent. The context windows are kind of like the memory. And then the LLM is orchestrating memory and compute for problem solving using all of these capabilities here. And so definitely, if you look at it, it looks very much like operating system from that perspective. A few more analogies. For example, if you want to download an app, say I go to VS Code and I go to download, you can download VS Code and you can run it on Windows, Linux, or Mac. In the same way as you can take an LLM app like Cursor and you can run it on GPT or Claude or Gemini series, right? It's just a drop down. So it's kind of like similar in that way as well.